Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahigana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. You can see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So we'll do the revision of verse 8. Today, revision will be done by Priya Mataji. Mataji, you have to share your screen. You have anything to share or?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
No, Prabhu, I don't.
Okay, so I'll display the verse here, Mataji. Okay. All over to you.
Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to just apologize because I don't know if I'll be able to do what have others been doing so nicely with the revision. I will try my best. So please pray that I can do a little bit of justice to this mantra. Basically, yeah. So last week, as we know, Ghanshyam Prabhu talked about the Isopanishad, so mantra 8. Do you need me to say the translation first?
Yes, Mataji, that would be good.
Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher, or has been fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial. So we can see this in basically this verse is saying that it gives many wonderful qualities of Krishna that are mentioned. Sukram being omnipotent, Akayam being unembodied, Avaranam without reproach. Reproach on its own, if we take out, if we say just reproach on its own means disappointment. So Ghanshyam Prabhu gave in examples like we are, there's many situations in our life, around 80 to 90% of us are basically disappointed because things are not in our control. And do we actually, what Krishna is actually, and why, and do we actually have to understand that 90% of us are disappointed, and 10% of the time we have to let go of that pleasure. So, we basically, in that verse, one of the verses, Krishna is saying, you don't have, don't worry about the results. Karvanya adhikare, that one, you have no rights to enjoy your results. So But why is actually Krishna saying that is because Krishna doesn't, he wants us to be peaceful all the time. So, we shouldn't worry about the results. So the so-called pleasure, we become pleasure, and then that actually boosts us up, it raises us up. But, and when we get disappointment, we feel pain and we feel frustrated. So, without reproach means without disappointment, basically. And it means the Supreme Lord's whole potency, so which is the Satya Sankalpa. This means that whatever the Lord Krishna says becomes true, whatever he thinks will be true. One example of that is when Karna's wheel was stuck to in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. His wheel was in the ditch, stuck there, and Krishna encourages then to take that opportunity to kill Karna. So he tells Arjuna to kill. Therefore, Krishna tells, so then Arjuna, then by the instructions of Krishna, shoots the arrow. But Karna thought that this is, not Kshatriya Dharma. But then he realized this is the desire and will of the Supreme Lord. So then, so that happened. So then, and then he talked about that their Lord's qualities, they are multivarious energies, and each of them will and each of these energies will wait for him as he beck and calls. So in the Brad Bhagavatam, in that pastime of the Gopi Kumar goes to Vaikuntha, they see the different personalities in a human form. So he mentions, like, we see like for example, the Sudarshan Chakra. The Sudarshan Chakra itself, we don't see the Sudarshan Chakra, but we see a person wearing like a crown, which has the emblem of the Sudarshan. So basically, the Supreme Lord has each one of these different energies, and they would wait for him without reproach. And then we look at Sukram, which, there's 3 qualities there, but Sukram here is, sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, the omnipotent. And so omnipotent explains the purport. In the Prabhupada's purport, he explains that each one of the senses of the Lord carry the same potency as every other senses of the Lord. So they all are potent. They all have the same potency, whether it be the eyes or the arms, everything. So he can do basically the same sort of thing with his eyes, like we do when we offer, like he can eat with his eyes as well. Doesn't have to be the hands, because they all have the same potency. Vasudev, and also there was a pastime about Varadev, who he killed Hiranyakashipu. Even though Hiranyakashipu was quite powerful, and he kills his weapons into pieces. Varadev actually kills Hiranyakashipu with one slap. So you can imagine how we would feel if it is just inconceivable that way. So we could have, but then he wanted to enjoy that fighting Leela with so Varadev didn't do it straight away. He wanted to enjoy that pastime, and then like that. So so he has unlimited forms, and and everything is Sachinadan Vigra, which is Akaram. So it's unembodied, and so Arjuna takes, and then we mentioned that Arjuna takes many births. Because Arjuna has taken many births, but he can't remember all of them. Krishna does. So because Krishna's body doesn't change, so Krishna therefore remembers all the births, because his body is Sachidananda. even when he's like 16 years old, his face still looks like a child. And even when he was, when he spoke the Gita, he was, I'm sorry, I may not have the correct year. Is it 100 years, Prabhuji, or 125 when he spoke the Gita?
125, it says.
125, yeah. So but yet he still looked like a young man. So we can see that, because of the that Krishna's body is Sachidanand. So yeah. So yeah, and the next one is Ashnaviram is without oh yeah, so, and he also says that everything is also omnipotent, because it's when we there was a good example he gave that being omnipotent is if you but we think that we go to a home program and then we like drink something and it's nice, but when the cook drinks the same thing, they will want to know what is carefully in that, and they'll have to really understand to remake those ingredients, have to taste it carefully. However, when we try the chanamrita, we don't have any idea. So what is in there, even though we don't know the exact ingredients, we cannot figure that out. So actually, in that way, the Lord itself is also um, inconceivable along with the other things like chanamrita. Um, um, then yeah, Sudam is it antiseptic, which means that even if Sudam means like that even anything something is unclean, it becomes clean in contact with Krishna, because Krishna is pure. And whereas Apapavidam is taking that medicine to become totally immune to becoming attacked by that particular disease. So, for example, for the Sudam, we can say that Krishna, when he was a baby, he, was in a very, a baby form. His lips were tiny. Yet when he touched the body, when he was sucking the milk, he touched the body of Putana. Putana became in a gigantic form. She became purified, and that was also seen when her body was burned to ashes. And I'm not sure, sorry, what was that name, but there was some sort of aroma that was there.
Agru.
Agru, yes, Agru was
From
there.
Agru comes Agarbatti.
Agarbatti, yeah. So
Ag-
Aguru was coming out, so which shows that whatever comes in contact with Krishna does get purified, and something so huge and gigantic as Putna, um, becomes purified with the contact of Krishna's lips. Manisi means like he's the topmost philosopher, and he's the Krishna, the Jagat Guru.
It's Manishi.
Sorry,
Manishi. No, that's okay.
Manishi, yeah. Yeah, he's like the way that he's explained very succinctly in the Bhagavad Gita, everything is explained like very contextualized, very condensed. But when we read other shastras like Bhagavatam, but Krishna has yeah, he's able to explain in a very succinct way, and also so that's also showing his topmost philosopher qualities, and he's the greatest of all, Paribhu. Um, and then we have um, Saswati Bhaya. Sorry, how do I pronounce that one?
You're reading the last line, Mataji?
No, sorry, this one.
Swayambhu.
Swayambhu, yeah.
Swayambhu.
Swayambhu so Krishna is self-sufficient, so he doesn't rely, doesn't need anyone or anything to be sufficient, because everything basically is manifested from him. And that is relevant in the invocation mantra, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. So Krishna doesn't need anything because of that. And Krishna will actually Krishna never actually comes to the position where he can give others more than what he possesses, and this is because he says he is he's basically brought by the love of his devotees. He says he remains forever indebted, like mentions about there's example about Sudama and the chipped rice, where Sudama has nothing to give him, but yet he gives him more than what he has, and he borrows it from others to give to Krishna. So, Krishna in that way is indebted to Sudama. In the same way, he's also indebted to the gopis' love, because he cannot reciprocate in that way. So the gopis' love itself is that reciprocation, which it's a bit hard to comprehend in the material context. So even when we talk about pure devotees, even when Subhadra lost Abhimanyu, she didn't really mention anything, and to Krishna, but she was she Arjuna says actually that didn't Arjuna actually wanted to have that same sort of love that Subhadra has, because she loved Krishna more than that she loved Abhimanyu, because so Arjuna actually prays that he can have that love for Krishna, and that love keeps growing. So I think so basically the whole verse here is about those qualities that I've just mentioned, and Krishna being the father of the living entities is very dear to humans, even though there are many forms. Krishna, like in the Bhagavatam, Krishna specifies that that the human form is the most dearest to him, and he holds it close to him. So so I think that's so pretty much so in oh yes, I just wanted to mention that in a nutshell, I guess that even the text Isopanishad is a good way to attract a person who has got even some sort of attraction towards personalism or impersonalism, because they would want to read it because they want to know whether the Lord has a form or not. So it's and obviously I just forgot to mention the last verse, which we mentioned on which talked about the oneness between the energy and the energetic. So oneness which is between the quality, not quantity, and one is in collective interest. So the only thing we desire is the only thing we should desire is the pleasure of the Lord. Yeah. So yes, Prabhuji, I think I'll stop now.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice.
Yeah.
This is a bigger verse actually. So this verse explains 10 qualities of Krishna. I'll just quickly reread them. So Shukram, which Mataji explained nicely, the omnipotent one. Akayam. So Akaya means no kaya, no body. Anyone can give another meaning of this Akaya besides unembodied, or basically expand on unembodied? Anyone? We have read it earlier. We are called, sorry, Jai Prabhu.
No material form, Prabhu.
No material form. Yes, if you expand it a little bit more, we are called embodied beings. So we are being put into this material body. But Lord's body is not like that. He is not like his soul is separate and his body is separate. So his soul is being put in a body, but in a special body. Nothing like that. So Prabhupada is using a very beautiful word, unembodied, akayam. Now, if you remember in Gajendra prayers, Gajendra also says in one of the prayers, Lord is arupaya. Lord has no rupa. And then he says urupaya. Urupaya means he has wonderful form. In the same verse, he contradicts himself. So arupaya refers to, as Jai Prabhuji said, no material rupa he has. In material terms, someone may be very beautiful or not so beautiful. Lord doesn't have that sort of problem, not being so beautiful. No, he doesn't have that material rupa. But urupaya means he has wonderful spiritual form. So Prabhupada is using the word beautiful, unembodied. He is not being put into a body, which we are, because that's how we identify ourselves. Abranam without reproach. So Ghanshyam Prabhu explained, and Priya Mataji also explained that no frustration. Another meaning our acharyas explain of Abranam refers to no criticism. You cannot criticize Lord for any action. As Priya Mataji was giving example of Arjuna killing Karna. Karna was giving different reasons why Arjun should not shoot. And Arjun was convinced actually, but Krishna said, no, shoot him. And he gave another set of reasons. When Lord Ram killed Bali, Bali was not happy. He said, Ram, I thought you are Maryada Purushottam and you are shooting me an arrow from behind the bushes. So actually Lord Ram gave multiple reasons to Bali. And eventually Bali was convinced and Lord Ram said, if you're still not convinced, I can give your life back to you. Bali said, no, I'm convinced. I want to go. Why are you want to go? He said, because in every birth, I have to die anyway. In this birth also I have to die. But what better death can be seeing Lord Ram in front of my eyes and then leaving my body? He said, no, I want to go. And Bali was fully convinced. So any act of the Lord, like it can be rasa dance or any other act, you cannot criticize Lord. You cannot. It's not like a force. Like in some countries, they have this rulers, you cannot criticize them. So it's nothing like that. Lord's action is always justifiable by Shastra, by Shastra. So Avranam can also mean without criticism. Lord's every single action is always beneficial to us. We may not understand it. That's our problem, not Lord's problem. Ashnaviram without veins. Why it says without veins and unembodied? Anyone can relate these two terms? Akayam and Ashnaviram.
Because he has spiritual body.
Yes. More than that, you're right, Jai Prabhu, you're right. So we already said Akayam is spiritual body. That's fine. Now, why he had to say Ashnaviram without veins? Where do you have
every
veins?
part of his body he can use as any.
Yeah, that's a different term. There's a very actually
Where
deeper
there
meaning.
is a Adi or Ant.
Adi or Ant. But why? What does
it
it
is
do?
Ananta.
Has to do with your veins.
There is no sort of blood or anything like that. Like
No blood or anything. That's a good point. More. Yes, you're right. No blood or anything. Like we have flesh, blood, bone, and something else. Manmohan Prabhu can expand on it. But, we have all those things. Lord doesn't. It's very clearly, explicitly defined. It has one more meaning to it. The more deeper meaning of this Ashnaviram without veins is Lord does have a body, but not material body. So, why he have to say it has no veins and no kaya? So it's not talking about, no body at all, no kaya at all. Not we are saying he has a body, but such a special body which does not have veins. And that's why I think Mataji also gave example of Brahma Samhita, Satchida Ananda Vigraha. Lord's body is fully Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Our body is not. Asat Achit Nirananda. Always giving trouble. But Lord's body is without veins. It's referring to he has a very special body. See, I can't say my laptop is without veins. Can I say that? Okay, you can say electrical wires are like veins. I can't say this wall doesn't have veins. So vein is related to body, but this body doesn't have veins. That means this body is very special. And Prabhupada writes, unembodied. He has not been put into a body and taken out of the body, given another body. And as Ghanshyam Prabhu gave nice example of Arjun and Krishna. Why Arjun forgets, Krishna doesn't? Krishna doesn't change the body. Now, if we don't change the body, many times at least, we remember the things, what has happened to us. Many times we forget as well. Shuddham apapavidham, antiseptic prophylactic. What's the difference between these two terms? So antiseptic, we know when you have, some sort of flu or fever, you go to the doctor, he gives you amoxicillin, 500 mg, 750 mg, whatever it is, right? Antiseptic. What does antiseptic do? If you have a disease, it kills the bacteria or viruses, whatever Manmohan Prabhu it is. It kills them, right? And it brings you out of that disease. Is that correct? Antiseptic. What does apapavidham mean? Prophylactic. It doesn't let you become diseased. One is curative, one is preventive. You see the difference here? Curative means you have a disease, you take a medication, you come out of it. That's fine. But one medication is called preventive medication. Preventive, if you take that preventers, the disease will not even happen. So a person who is in touch with Krishna will not even do a sinful activity. You see all the saintly persons or devotees of Lord, they don't do sinful activity. Not that they do sinful activity, Lord forgives. The Lord does that. 1866, aham tvam sarvapapyabhyam mokshishami masucha. So that's antiseptic, no problem with that. So if you get in touch with Krishna, no matter how much pap you have done, anyone can remember a famous or a couple of famous examples who had done a lot of pap, they came in touch with Krishna and all the paps were gone. Any example? Jaldi, jaldi.
Jagai Madai.
Jagai Madhai, thank you, Mataji. More from Bhagavatam? Oh, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Huh? Who was very papi, very sinful, came in touch with Lord, all the pap was gone. Valmiki, Ratnakar Daku, very, very sinful person, came in touch with Narad Muni, Lord's holy name, he got corrected. Anyone who never did pap because he was in touch with Krishna? Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was in touch with Krishna from the womb of his mother. He never don't have a sinful account at all. He hasn't opened his sinful account. So we have accounts. Lord is saying antiseptic, no problem. You come to me, I'll remove it. But another person like Prahlad Maharaj doesn't even have that account. Why? Because he's in touch with the Lord. So no matter what your situation is, Lord can deal with it. Kavi, omniscient, that we understand. Now, Kavi has multiple meanings. Generally, in this material world, we consider Kavi as a poet. In Shastra, Kavi's general meaning is Vidwan. Kavi also means a Vaidya. Vaidya means a doctor, a physician. If you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see the usage of word Kavi is being used for doctors. Kavi means doctor. And here Kavi's mean is Vidwan, the topmost Vidwan, omniscient. Lord knows everything. He's the primary Adi Kavi. And even Vyasdev says Adi Kaviye. It refers to Lord as Adi Kavi. Manishi, he is a philosopher, as Priya Mataji was nicely explaining. He can say lot of things in a little sutra, isn't it? Prabhupada was asked once when he was about to finish his pastimes in the material world, Prabhupada, which other book would you like to do more commentaries on? And Prabhupada named one book. Anyone remembers which that one book was?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. And disciples said, but Swamiji, you have already done the commentary. He said, Bhagavad Gita is so deep, so deep. Why? This one verse can have so. Bhanu Maharaj was giving one class in the Sydney temple one time. He said, every verse can be translated in 11 ways. No, maybe more. maybe more, minimum 11 ways. Now you can just consider it. So much perplexing. What we are reading or what we have read in 2 years is just not even the surface of the surface. Huh? We have just slightly touched the verses. Huh? They can have so many deeper meanings. So many people, scholars have tried to do commentary on Bhagavad Gita. They can't just finish it. They can't finish it. It's so deep. Huh? So this is a real philosopher. Huh? He can say one word, will have so many meanings, and you can just put your intellect here and there. Paribhu, the greatest of all, as we all understand, Nattaha Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti. Nattaha Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. 7.7 Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself is saying, Arjuna also accepts it. Swayambhu self-sufficient, as Mataji was explaining. Lord doesn't need anything from outside. Are we Swayambhu? Anyone here Swayambhu? We all Paribhu. We need so many things. Every minute, every 1 hour, we go into the kitchen and see what's there in the fridge, what's there on the bench. We need. It says God gives and forgives, and we get and forget. And we say, where is God? Why do I need God? I'm living my life all right. Why do I need God? Not even one thing we have created on our own. Anyway, just quickly, I thought we'd get this. So 10 qualities of Lord. Now let's go back to some relationship between the previous verses, which I like to do. Okay, where is Bhakti Shastri? This is our Bhakti Shastri guide. This is our base. Okay, so the section we have just finished, as you can see here, mantra 4 to 8, the vision of the Mahabhagavat. Can anyone explain what was there in mantra 5 and 6 and 7? You can look in your books, that's fine. Or I'll just open it for you, that's okay. It's not an exam today. Just on that exam word, I remember. Exam probably will be on 12th of May, so please lock that date in your diary. So 12th May is a Sunday, so we'll do a same pattern. We'll talk about the exam later. 5th of May, we can do some revision. Towards the end of this month, we should be able to finish Isopanishad unless something else happens. But yeah, roughly, please make a note of 12th of May. Okay, now, just do a very quick revision of this Isopanishad. So mantra 1, anyone can tell mantra 1 in 1 line or 2 lines? Anyone? Jaldi. Before
Lord
we...
is Purna.
Sorry,
Ishavashyam principle.
Ishavasya means Lord is the owner.
Take the only one's own
proprietor.
quota.
Yeah. So Lord is the proprietor of everything. Which year Lord was the proprietor of everything? Anyone can say which year? 1956, 1957. Huh? Forever, really? Yes. Past, present, and future. Huh? Our country's president may change, this house owners may change, bodies may change. Lord is always the Ishavasya. Huh? So he's the fully controller of everything all the time. Mantra 2, anyone can say in 1 line? Not Jai Dharma Prabhu, we have said you finish your quota. Quota system. Akhand Rasa Prabhu finished the quota.
You already gave the clue, Prabhu.
Okay. Namaste Prabhu smiling.
If you follow
Hare
this
Krishna.
person,
Akhand Rasa Prabhu, you finish your quota. Sorry. Mataji has not finished. I want everyone to participate. See, answer is right on the screen, but you can say. Yes, Master
Living
Prabhu.
in harmony.
Living in harmony with that principle which is taught by Lord in mantra 1, that he is the owner and just take your quota. So living in harmony, what it will result, Prabhu? I'll get $10,000 extra bonus per month, Master Prabhu.
No, Prabhu, living in
No?
harmony under the Ishavasya principle.
What
So
will
that
happen?
means-
Yeah, understand. Living in harmony with government rules. What will happen? What's the impact on me? That's what I'm interested in, my selfish desires.
you will be rewarded.
You don't get karma. You don't accumulate any karma.
No money, Rasanand Prabhu. He said no money, no $10,000. Yes,
One will not be bound. One will not be bound.
Yes, one will not be bound and he can continue living on forever. Thank you. Mantra 3, who will say? Except the devotees who have finished their quota.
What will happen if you don't follow the Ishavasya principle? Like, if you follow against it, like
What will- yes.
vikarma sort of things.
Yes. So if
So
I
you'll
don't
be
follow,
bound,
what will happen? I'll get a
you'll be bound,
105.
you'll be bound and by the karmas, and you'll be put in the hellish planets.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the impact of that will be, as Prabhuji said, you will become Atmaha. The word, important word there is used, Atmaha. Atma means killer of the soul. Now, killer of the soul, we understand, not a technical killing here, but literal understanding of that term is that. Okay. Number 4. Now we start a different theme, and you can look into MIH guide here. Yeah. So number 4, now this person who understood the first section is coming to the second section now, and is thinking what I should do with this Lord. The Lord is the controller. So let's read some qualities of the Lord, which makes sense, right? The Lord is the owner, proprietor, controller of everything all the time. Let's read some qualities. So mantra 4 and 5, who can give me a theme?
Talks about the inconceivable achintya beda beda tattva. And that one talks about that. So,
Thank you, Prasanatma Prabhu. You have done out of your quota, but that's nice. Whoever has not spoken, I would prefer. I'm not taking any names here, so anyone can speak. But if you have spoken once, give others chance. So, okay, Prabhu has already said. So, inconceivable potencies of the Lord. Any other person can say, Vijay Mataji, Raghavi Mataji, what inconceivable potencies we are talking? Just roughly, you can read from the screen. That's all right. Mantra 4 and 5, just a little bit, 1 or 2 liners. Okay, now I'll take name, otherwise, yeah. Okay, Mata.
Speaking to you. Yeah. 4.
Oh, sorry.
For mantra 4 is asking.
Sorry,
Just
Prabhu.
one liner. What does it
Mantra
talk
4
about?
is
Just in
the
your words.
it's the inconceivable qualities of the Lord. Lord is beyond material calculations.
Can you give me
and
1
when
or
we
2
speak-
examples, Mataji, from Mantra 4? You can read it. It's on the screen.
Mm.
Any 1 or 2 qualities.
Now you have to go to the book. It's on the book you wrote.
So Lord is swifter than the mind.
Yes, sorry.
And
Yeah.
this is the contrast in, is fixed in his abode. Just one quality. So although he's fixed, but he runs faster than the mind as well. And he controls everyone. Demigods cannot approach him. Mantra 5, Raghavi Mataji, can you give a 1-liner of that?
Basically, he is within, and also he is inside us, and also he is outside of everything.
Yes. And he says he walks, he does not walk, he is far away, but he is very, very close. The different terms of Purusha Avataras we discussed in this mantra. Mantra 6. Who can tell me? Mantra 6. Manmohan Prabhu, would you like to give your understanding? And you can read, that's absolutely okay.
He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being.
So what's the, my question was, Prabhuji, what's the relation between 4, 5 and 6? So 4, 5, we understood Lord's inconceivable qualities. That's what we understood. Mantra 6, what does it talks about? The theme of the mantra 6. So basically a person who looks at the... Yes, yes.
Knower
Someone...
of the
Atmanyeva anupashyanti. That's what I've highlighted in the verse, Prabhuji.
Okay.
It talks about that the Lord who is systematically sees everything.
Okay.
So it talks about Uttamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari.
Exactly. Now you have understood the Lord. Now, after understanding the Lord, how you will deal with the people around you, right? So now, and Lord is fine. But if I say Lord is only in the temple, I am considered a Kanishta Adhikari. I fight with another devotee. I disagrees and I do some other things to that devotee. So how to understand the Lord 4 and 5 with the Achinta Bheda Bheda, different inconceivable qualities, and then how do I deal with that? That will show my understanding, isn't it? Otherwise, my understanding is incomplete of the Lord, because I am a neophyte, as Maharaj was saying, neophyte, new devotee who always fight. Neophyte. So after understanding, reading a little bit 4 and 5, then how I deal. If I deal properly, ekatvam anupashyati, someone said that means I am a uttamadhikari. Just one point here, and there are many more points there, right? So dealings with another devotee can we say as a theme of mantra 6, right? And Kanishta deals differently, Madhyama deals differently, and Uttama deals differently. Mantra 7, who can give me a little clue there?
Can I try, Prabhu?
Mantra 7?
Yeah. Can I try, Prabhu?
Yes, please, Mataji.
It talks about the Mahabhagavatam.
Yeah.
Here he sees the soul in every living entity, like Vidya Vinaya Sampanne.
Yes.
Process, and also he sees Lord in quality of the Lord in everywhere. So such type of Mahabhavat, there is no illusion or anxiety.
Thank you, Mataji. So the both mantras, so 4 and 5 deals with Lord's inconceivable qualities, and 6 and 7 refers to again the vision of Mahabhagat, how he sees and deals with the environment and the people around him. Is that clear? In Lord Mantra 8, again we come down to a very specific features of the Lord, which we just discussed today. Now, is everyone okay with from Mantra 1 to 8 so far? Everyone got a little understanding? Someone was saying recently that Prabhu, Isopanishad is very tough. As it feels like that because we have not read it earlier. Bhagavad Gita, okay, we have read it many times, but Isopanishad is like that. But if you read it like this, actually it's quite clear, quite clear. And as we know, it is just talking not directly personality of the Lord, but it's in the words, as Ghanshyam Prabhu was explaining last week. But this is one of those Upanishads which is very clear in the personality of the Lord. Very, very clear, although still unclear.
Yes, Prabhu. Then what is, sorry, Prabhu, just wanted to know. They say it's directly, it is not explained, but it looks very direct only.
Exactly, and that's why it's a Upanishad. Upanishad means one who explains indirectly, but this is such a Upanishad, it explains quite directly.
So is it because it is explained by our acharyas, it is direct, or if you see some impersonalism, it will be different?
Yes, if you remember the example Ghanshyam Prabhu was giving last week of Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, someone found Isopanishad and he said, I'll challenge Maharaj based on Isopanishad. And finally, so yes, Prabhu, you're right. So many people can still go and make misinterpretation of this. But it is actually quite clear, like in Bhagavad Gita as well. There's so many verses, but some Mayavadis have done the translation of that Bhagavad Gita in a Mayavadi way. Now, I don't understand it. And even Chaitanya Prabhu was saying in one of his classes, we just don't know how they can misinterpret these verses. But they use some, word jugglery. That's what Prabhu was saying. I have not read any Mayavadi commentaries. They use some word juggleries to explain their point. But another verses, they say, wow, like ekatvam is used in verse 7, if I'm not wrong. Let's open the words. Ekatvam anupashyatah. So they love this word and they start explaining. But what Prabhupada has explained last week, we discussed, or last week we discussed, that ekatvam means our mission is same. Our qualities are same, but quantities are not same. So that's what we read. So yes, Prabhu, you're right. So Mayavadis explain anything in their own way. But it says even Shankaracharya could not write the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam because it is so clear that Krishna is a person. Krishna is a person. So anyway, small people, they do many things. So far, are we all okay from mantra? Prasannatma Prabhu, you are prasanna now?
Yes, Prabhu, yeah.
Prabhuji only inspired me, to be honest. So thank you to Prabhuji. I thought we'll just do a quick summary of what we have done so far. Okay, let's go to next section now. Mantra 9 to 14. So this is absolute and the relative. So don't worry about the terminology too much. I'll try to explain in simple terms as much as I understand. So 9 to 11 is the terms of knowledge and 12 to 14 is terms of worship. So basically 9 to 11, 9, 10 and 11, 3 verses you'll talk about basically the culture of knowledge and culture of ignorance. So there's one is called real knowledge, one is called unreal knowledge. So we'll in 3 verses we'll talk about that. And in 12 to 14, based on this knowledge, it will talk about the worship. Like if you have a real knowledge, you will worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if you have some, mundane knowledge, whom you will worship? Maybe you some a politician, some celebrity, and I heard there's a temple of Rajnikant in South India somewhere. I'm not against Rajnikant or Amitabh Bachchan, anything like that. They are very good people. But the point is, people worship him like God, like God. That's people's understanding of them is very, very not very clear at all. So it's not a person's criticism we are doing here, but what we are saying, some general mass, because of having misunderstanding who a God is, they put anyone as God and they start worshipping them. Anyway, so knowledge and worship, basically, three things we'll talk about. So far, we have done two topics, proprietorship and the laws of God, mantra 1 to 3. Mantra 4 to 8 was the vision of Mahabhagavad, which we just discussed. So 3 verses were dedicated just for the Lord's person qualities, and 2 were related to how we deal with others or other things. Now we are saying, okay, now what happens to ignorance? Now, if you remember in mantra 3, I'll just go back here. Anyone can say mantra 3 theme quickly without looking at it, if possible. There's one key word. If you remember that keyword, you'll remember mantra 3. Rupam Prabhu is not here. Anyway, we have published the verses to be remembered. So please look at that document. And I think mantra 3 is there as well. So Atma. Yes, Akhil.
Atmaha.
Thank you. Atmaha, killer of the soul. So what happens to killer of the soul? He enters into a dark region of ignorance. So you can say mantra 9 to 11 is an expansion of mantra 3. So mantra 3 was saying, if you live in disharmony with the principle of Ishavasya, what will happen to you? You will enter. Now 9 to 11 is an expansion of that. Now, as I said earlier, Atmaha does not mean killer of the soul, means you kill the soul, you wipe out the existence of the soul, nothing like that. So basically, soul's consciousness goes down and down and down. So when the soul consciousness is going down, down and down, mantra 9 to 11 explains how does this practically happen. Okay, so what happens to that soul who's going down, and what can be done to revive that soul back up. So that's mantra 9 to 11. So let's read mantra 9, and then we will start some explanation. So who will read Isopanishad mantra 9?
Can I pull?
Sure.
Mantra 9. Andham tama pravishanti.
Andham tamaha pravishanti.
Je avidyam upashate.
Ye avidyam upasate.
Tato bhuya iva te tama.
Tato bhuya iva te tamo.
Jeyu vidyayam rataha.
Yayu vidyayam rataha.
Translation. Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities shall enter into the darkness, region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll just read quickly the mantra. Andham tamaha pravishanti. So everyone understands that. It's very similar to Hindi line. So andham, andha mane darkness. Pravishanti mane to enter, pravesh karna. Tama. Tama means again dark. So they enter into dark. Who enter into dark? Ye avidyam. So this is not vidyam, it's a. So if you read in the synonyms, avidyam. So ye avidyam upaste. One who worships avidya, worships means follows avidya, you can say, cultivates avidya, relish into avidya. What will happen to him? He will enter into the dark regions. Okay. Tato bhuya evate tamo. But even worse than that, ya yu vidyayam rataha. Worse than that, they will enter into even darker region of hells who are worshippers of Vidya. I can say, wow, that's a very contradictory statement. So avidya will enter into dark, that's understood. But Vidya Rataha also going into the dark, that's not understood. Okay, so now what basically this verse is comparing, not Vidya, the real Vidya is saying Vidyayam Rataha. Who is Rata? Rata mane engaged, Vidya mane so-called engaged into the study of Vidya. That means you can explain into different ways. You can say some Brahmanas who are basically misleading the crowd, right? So they study the Vedas, they misinterpret the Vedas, and they misguide the people. So just imagine a person who has no knowledge about the Veda. He will say, Prabhuji, I have no knowledge. I don't know what to do in this situation. Another person, he says, actually, I know, but he knows exactly opposite than what he should be telling, right? Suppose I go to a person, I say, I have this disease, can you give me the medication? And he will say, no, don't ask me, I don't know anything about it. Yeah, okay, he couldn't help me, that's fine. But then I go to another person, he says, yes, I'm a doctor, and he gives me a bottle which has poison. Who is better in this situation, in this scenario? A person who didn't give me medicine, or person who gave me a bottle, so-called bottle of medicine, but it had poison in it? Which one is better? No one knows, huh? People have to think about it.
Who didn't give any medicine?
The first
Thank
one.
you, Priyamat. Who didn't give the medicine, at least he didn't do any harm to me. He could not help me, he didn't harm me. So, Vidyayamrita means people who are engaged in the worship or cultivation of so-called Vidya. If you read the translation of Prabhupada, engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. So this Vidya, which we are talking in this particular verse, does not refer to the real knowledge, it's the fake knowledge. Is that understood? Now let's read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. This mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Actually, I'll just open my document. It's the same thing as I said. Okay, let's read the themes as well. So 9 to 11, comparing the cultivation of knowledge and nascence, guidelines for knowledge, right and wrong. So basically the first part you see here, that's mantra 9, guidelines for knowledge, mantra 10, right and wrong Vidya, that is mantra 11. Okay. As I said, the problem and the solution is being given in the verses in the purport of Prabhupada. Okay. Mantra 9 deals with those who neglect spiritual knowledge, enter into darkness, comparative study of Vidya and Avidya, 3 kinds of so-called knowledge. Okay. Let's read the purport. Vidya and Avidya. Okay. Anyone who has not participated as yet?
Can I
Ujjwala
read,
Samata?
Prabhu?
I can read.
Mausa Prabhu, you have done your quota. Sorry. Ujjwala Samata ji, I'm just going on my screen and there may be more devotees.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided.
So we all understand that part, right? We are calling so-called knowledge, not the real knowledge. Martin Luther King says, in this current day and age, we have guided missiles and misguided men. Now tell me which is more harmful. Guided missile. So missiles we can, we have BrahMos. I heard about India has developed a BrahMos missile who can turn around 80 degrees at least. Huh? So we have guided missiles. We can accurately define where this missile will go, how much damage it wants to do. That's all good. But we have misguided men. Now there are so many hot-headed leaders in the world who have so much ego and passion and ignorance. Just by the press of a button, they can destroy another country, neighboring country. Huh? They have no knowledge what they are doing, but they have the power. So this is even more dangerous in those hands rather than having no knowledge. Yes, Mataji.
People are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect.
So we are becoming more advanced, more sophisticated. Our suits, our dresses looks better than before, but people are more unhappy than ever before. Why? Because we are excluding in all the so-called Vidyas in our studies. Prabhupada was saying in a university class that not even one university section is dedicated for understanding you. You means you as a body, huh? Body and soul. There's no branch in university who teaches us who is God, who are you, and what's your relationship, how to revive that relationship. So Prabhupada said, it's all avidya. You have developed, space technology, this technology, that technology, but now the countries are becoming so much threat to each other. Every country is a threat to each other. Prabhupada said in one lecture somewhere I heard, he said half of the country's income is spent on the defense, isn't it? Just to protect and attack. Then I also read recently one of the neighbors, India's neighbors, they have no money to feed to the poor people, but they're still doing their missile tests quite often. So their people are being hungry, but they are doing all the missile tests. Why? Because they want to control on other people. So our so-called advancement, because it's on the exclusion of the most important part of life, spiritual aspect, is not working. And the proof is so many people are unhappy. Yes, Mataji or Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I'm a little bit puzzled about this.
Yeah.
We are talking about the Vidya and Avidya. So
Yes.
Avidya is like they are totally ignorant about the spiritual aspect of their life and they are doing just karma.
Yes.
And the other part, the other types of people are who are just studying material knowledge. But are we also talking about Gyanis here?
Okay. So not Gyanis here, Mataji. So Gyanis still have the understanding that Aham Brahmasmi. They may
Yeah.
have the wrong understanding, but we're not talking about them here.
Just material knowledge.
Just material knowledge, which is without the knowledge of God, without the knowledge of soul, because that is like Prabhupada said that our current modern schools and education systems are like slaughterhouses. Now, Prabhupada said that because children are very innocent when they go to these schools and colleges, and when they come back, whatever the little innocence they have, they get destroyed actually, and they get distracted by so many other things. So many other things. At home, we try to make them Krishna conscious, and then when they go out to the world, they become other way. Huh? So yes, we are talking about any knowledge which is not related with God, which is not developing any relationship with God, that is considered avidya. And Prabhupada will expand on it in the next verse. He will give a
Okay.
whole list.
One more thing,
Yes.
the result of both of these, the people who delve into Vidya, that material
Yes.
knowledge, and Avidya, the
So-called
result
vidya.
is, so-called Vidya, the result is they both end up stuck in the cycle of birth and death.
Yes.
Now, the result is the same, whether they follow Vidya or Avidya. So then why one is said to be worse than the other?
Because one is
Because
not
they are both
one.
having the same result.
No, the thing is, one is not harming others, one is harming others. Suppose a simple example, you drink alcohol. Okay, not that I'm recommending here, but you're harming your own body. But imagine you make an agenda of teaching your whole colony that you must drink alcohol, otherwise it's not good. Just imagine that situation. So, which is worse? First, you're harming your own body, and second, you're harming so many people. Now, in one of the religions of the world, they say if you kill other people who does not follow your religion, you'll go to Swarg Loka and you'll get 71 virgins to enjoy with. Some religion says that, right? So are they okay? Just from even forget the religion perspective, from a normal perspective, so many people in the world as well, they don't like that religion. People are getting banned in different countries. I can say the name of Britain and China. So they are banning these people. Why? Because they are harming others as well. They are so, what do you call, Kattarpanthi. They're just mad people. Huh? So you follow your religion, and that's why Vedic culture is so nice. It respects you. If you want to follow something else, it respects you. You want to follow, Shaivism, you want to follow Advaitavad, whatever, that's fine. But when you're harming others, that's not good. So here what Vidya means, suppose I don't have any knowledge and I say that's fine, but I claim to have knowledge and I don't have knowledge. It's worse. It's called non-theistic scientist. And the worst thing is, if I have no knowledge, I claim to have knowledge and I make a propaganda against the real knowledge. Like you Hare Krishnas are the worst people. You have no knowledge what you are doing. You all been brainwashed. People have agenda. People have open court cases against ISKCON. You probably know that. Brainwashing. So many brainwashing. Even at the time of Prabhupada, they will kidnap their own children from the temple. I'm talking. They will hire people to kidnap their own children from the temple who have joined the temple, and they will take them in a remote place to deprogram them. It's like a movie scene I was hearing in lectures. I'm like, wow. Huh? They will hire people to kidnap their own children from the temple, ISKCON temples, I mean, huh? Because ISKCON temple is brainwashing them. So what you call this is, they're saying, we are in Vidya, that's modern American people, we are in Vidya, you ISKCON people are in Avidya, you telling us what to do? You have taken my son or daughter, I'll bring them back to become normal, so-called normal. Huh? They must eat beef, they must go to clubs, and they must live a normal life. You guys living abnormal life, and you're brainwashing my children as well. So you understand? So they claim to be in Vidya, they claim, and they have a propaganda against those people who are actually in Vidya. I'm just giving an example of ISKCON, and you can relate with so many other things as well. And you can take on a religion perspective, from a religion level, you can take from a national level as well. Indian neighbors are sort of accusing India for doing the wrong things. I watched a little clip of Mr. Jay Shankar recently. Like, wow. In this journals is blaming. I'm sure you would have watched as well. It's like 20 seconds clip. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying, Mataji, or still not clear?
Yeah, so basically, what I get from this is having ignorance is relatively you are a bit innocent, that
Yes.
you don't have the
Yes,
knowledge.
I don't know the road rules, Mataji, right? I don't know which way to drive, right or left. That's fine. But I go to America and say, because in Australia I always drive left hand, so I'll also drive left hand here. And police will catch you because you are harming not only yourself, but you are becoming a danger for other vehicles as well, right? That's worse. I don't know means I don't know. But when I say I know and I do the wrong thing, that's even worse. Is that okay?
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you.
Yeah. Priya Mataji.
Prabhu Hare Krishna. Actually, is it like can we say that when is it Shanda Mark who were the
Yes, Guru of
disciples
Prahlad
of
Maharaj,
yeah,
the son of Shukracharya.
Shukracharya, yeah. So would when they actually brought Prahlad to give them the
Knowledge.
no
So-called
knowledge,
knowledge.
yeah.
Yes.
So was that knowledge
Yes.
avidya?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Definitely. Prahlad Maharaj itself says that this Vidya, this knowledge is not teaching me how to love God. And Prabhupada had this simple definition. He said, I'm not here to convert anyone. If your religion is helping you to become a better person, a lover of God, you follow your religion. I'm not here to convert you. You follow your chanting, you follow your ways of worshipping God. I'm not here to convert. You don't have to join Hare Krishna, take a Hare Krishna name. He said Muslims can become better Muslim, a Christian can become a better Christian. That's all it is about. He's saying, love God. If your religion is teaching how to love God, follow your religion. It was very simple and
So
straightforward.
in
But if you say my religion is teaching
okay.
me to hate
So
you,
yeah, so
Prabhupada is saying
the
that's not good. That's not good because your religion should teach you how to love people, not to hate people and eliminate them. Just because I don't follow your rules, you should not, come and sever my head from my body. That's not what a religion teaches. A true religion teaches.
I heard Prabhu, like, one of the Iranian.
Prabhuji, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Let Priya Mataji finish and we'll come to you. Yes, Mataji? Priya Mataji, you want to say something else?
Yeah, so it's not teaching us to love God basically, and so that's avidya, and it's obviously misguiding us in the wrong direction. So better if they had no knowledge about any God, would that be that's still dangerous, but it's still vidya, it's still called vidya.
It's avidya, but it's still less dangerous. Rather than calling
It's still
yourself a
avidya.
vidwan, like calling yourself a doctor and giving people a medicine which will kill them. That's very bad. I was driving a car one night from temple to home. Anyway, on one of the streets, one cyclist had fallen because a car had hit the cyclist. So I stopped my car. I came out of the car because he was literally on the road. He was having a lot of pain. I think he hurt his collarbone. Anyway, so I said, "Can I help you in anything?" And he was able to talk, but he was a strong man. Anyway, so he said, "Don't touch me. Call ambulance." And he was right? If I touch him, I may damage his body more. So what was the best thing to do? Not to touch him, just be with him and then call the ambulance. And ambulance people will come and do what needs to be done because on the name of helping him, I may have made the case worse. So it's better not to help that person in a physical way, rather call the experts to help him. Is that okay, Mata?
Yes, Prabhu. So
yeah.
Um,
So I shouldn't be helping him in a way which is harmful to him. And if I do that, that's actually worse. That's worse. Okay. Rather, I not help him and just walk out rather than helping in a way which make his position worse. Which people are doing, so-called leaders of this world are doing these days. They pose them to be in a very knowledgeable position and they misguide the whole crowd, sometimes whole country. Hitler, one of the person misguided, and if I'm not wrong, 10 million Jews were killed because of his speeches and misguidance. 10 million. So one community of people started hating another community of people and they killed people, like mass slaughter, just because of the misguidance. So rather he would say, no, I don't know. That's better.
Okay. So would that person then, if they're not helping that person because they will harm them, rather they seek medical advice, then that would be
Exactly.
the right vidya,
Exactly.
the
So
right knowledge.
you're just being honest and humble. I don't know. Please go to expert to take help. I can't help you. Rather than helping you on the so-called name of help and harming you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any connection between when people say like ignorance is bliss, something like that?
Ignorance is never a bliss, Mataji. Even on the road,
Yeah, I
can't.
know people
People
mention
say
that.
anything. People say anything, but it's a very childish statement. To be honest, even a child knows where to jump from. A child cannot go in your balcony, Mataji. Suppose the mother is there or father is there. He'll say, "Ignorance is bliss. I'll just jump from the balcony and let's see what happens." It's just very childish and it's an ignorant statement in itself. When you're crossing the road, you have to look for the vehicles right and left. You can't say that. You cannot do anything ever saying ignorance is bliss. It's just you want to avoid. But how far you can go? How far? Even police will catch you doing the wrong things. It's, oh, I didn't know about the road rules. You cross a red light camera, Mataji. Ignorance is bliss. I didn't know there's a camera, so-called camera, speed camera, red light camera. So many. Let's have mundane examples. How can you come out of from Krishna's vision? Okay, Prasannatma Prabhu, sorry.
Sir, nothing much, Prabhu. Just wanted to add actually. So
Yes, please.
I was driving one day, like Uber. There was one Iranian customer. So I was just talking to him and saying why, like Muslim, wherever they are, fight a lot. He said, like, I am not religionist, but I can tell you one thing. He told me, I'll tell you an inner secret. He said, so like their fundamental thing is whichever place they are minority, they'll fight for equal rights. And whenever they become majority, they will forcibly make the other party like Muslims, because they don't respect any other form of worship, only Quran and Allah. So that's like an ignorance, wrong understanding of the scripture, and that might be more dangerous.
And that statement, I can break it down, but I will not in today's discussion. They only worship Quran. That is not a complete statement. Anyway, some other day we can have a good debate, Sundar Gopal Prabhu.
I just wanted to add that.
No,
Actually,
thank you. No, this is the so-called agenda they have. So-called agenda. Anyway, there's a lot to say on that part. I will not open up the discussion. Thank you, Prabhuji. Manmohan Prabhu.
So, just wondering if Mayavadis also fall into this category.
In one sense, yes, Prabhuji. In one sense, yes. If you remember Prabhupada Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling, Mayavadi Bhashya Shunibe Hoile Sarvanash. If you listen Mayavadi Bhashya, if I'm not wrong, Raghunath Das Goswami also said, I will better be living with animals rather than living with Mayavadis, because animals like snake and tigers will eat up my body, but Mayavadi will eat up my soul. So he said, tigers and snakes will bite me and kill me. One body is lost. Okay. But Mayavadi, if they pollute my consciousness, then many, many lives will be crossed. So in that sense, yes. But we're not going that direction as yet. We're just beginning the purport. But from technical perspective, yes. They pose to be very knowledgeable people. Even Krishna condemns them. And we'll have the explanation by Prabhupada of that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, let's move to the second paragraph. In one paragraph, actually, we have discussed a lot of things which is getting explained by Prabhupada in the future lines. Okay, para 2. Who wants to read? Who hasn't done it?
I can do, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Para 2, less education is better than wrong education.
So just on this heading, you can see how clearly this one is. Less education sometimes better than wrong education, because wrong education will put you in a proud mindset that I am very educated, but actually it's all wrong. It's better to be illiterate sometime or less literate. Yes, Mata.
As far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything, and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. The more a man forgets this fact of life, the more he is in darkness.
Just on this line, Prabhupada is very clear on the standard. What's the standard of Vidya? How much you are connected with Lord. That's Vidya. If you are suppose 10% connected with Krishna, you are 10% knowledgeable. But you may have 10 PhD degrees and whatever, your connection to Krishna is zero. Prabhupada is considering you as zero, or Shastra, I should say. Once Prabhupada was asked, I think in America, that are you only doing program for poor people, not for rich people? So Prabhupada says anyone who does not have Krishna consciousness, he's poor. He's poor. So the definition of poverty or richness is not based on how much money you have in your bank account. It's based on how much Krishna consciousness you have. So externally, you may be billionaire. You have no Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, you are a poor. So Prabhupada said, our temple is open for everyone. You can come here and increase your love of God through our program. So that is the definition of poverty or being rich. Yes, Mataji.
In view of this, a godless civilization directed towards a so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated.
Now you see, in our olden days, our grandmothers or great-grandmothers, they were not very educated, but they were very, very God conscious. They knew the family rules, they knew how to run the family, and they will do so many nice things which will satisfy the whole family and their community. They had so much faith in Lord. But nowadays, all the men and women are so much educated that we see the world is going in a very, very different direction. No one can cooperate with each other. So Prabhupada is saying advancement of education is more dangerous, and we can see the results all around us. Okay, third paragraph. It doesn't have much, it has a lot, but I'll just read the paragraph heading here. Karmis, all isms based on wrong education, that goal of life is sense enjoyment. And that leads to nationalism, socialism, communityism. So my community is greater than your community. My nation is greater. My religion is greater. And even within ISKCON, sometimes we have the ism. My guru is greater than your guru. I am greater than you. I live in a better location. I have actually bigger deities than your deities. You know that I have the biggest deity in Sydney. So many perceptions, even so-called devotees have of judging others. That my guru has, and I've heard these comments, has 10,000 disciples or 20,000 disciples or something like that. How many your guru has? It's just, I don't know what to talk to. Who is giving them all this education? That means they're not reading Prabhupada books. Prabhupada really writing all this in terms of outside, but within inside also it's happening. Okay, paragraph 4. Someone else can do.
I can do this.
Yes, Mataji.
Since karmis work due to wrong education, worse are those who provide that wrong education. In the language of the Bhagavad Gita,
We'll just read the highlighted portion. We understand the heading, since karmis work due to wrong education. So they have been given, the kids have been given wrong education. The goal of life is what? As per the modern education. Just earn the best money and be the best in a powerful position where you can just command everyone else, right? Now, kids are not at fault in that sense, right? Kids are sent to those schools, they studied there for 20 years and they become like that. But who's at fault? Prabhupada saying, those who provide that wrong education, isn't it? The government is giving this education to the kids. I was watching a Hare Krishna TV, a small video, and this Mataji was taking interview of devotees. I think it was in Bombay temple, if I'm not wrong, Juhu temple. And she was asking, who is the father of Aurangzeb? And he said, and please correct me if I'm Shah Jahan. And this devotee in Mala in hand said, who is the father of Shah Jahan? Who is the father of Humayun? Who is the father? And he knew all the fathers. And he said, okay, who's the father of Lord Ram? Dashrath. Who's the father of Dashrath? No. Who's the grandfather of Dashrath? No knowledge, because again, it's not the fault of the person. He has never been taught. See, I have read history for 8 years or something, and all you read about, Mughals. All you read about Mughals. No one teaches you about Lord Ram and Krishna, maybe little bit. Not much, huh? So Prabhupada is saying, karmis are working to non-education, that's fine, but worse are those who provide those educations, right? And Prabhupada gives a reference, 7:15. Anyone remember 7:15? Quickly. Quick.
Namam dushkrutino muda prapadyante
Prapadyante.
naradama.
Uh-huh.
Prapadyante naradama.
Ma.
Mayaya partha jnana. Dushkrutino.
Asuram bhavam
Asuram
ashrita.
bhavam
Ashrita.
ashrita.
Thank you, Mata. You did it. You passed this exam, what, 1 year ago? You still remember? That's great. Okay, so Prabhupada is writing they are mudhas, asses, donkeys. Huh? They have no intelligence. No intelligence. Mataji, next one.
The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. A cobra decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated.
Do you understand this analogy? Beautiful analogy, and many sannyasis use this analogy as well. I've heard in the lectures. Because a cobra which has a jewel in his head, he will be more attractive, right? Because people want to get the jewel. If a cobra doesn't have a jewel, so cobra here refers to modern civilization, modern education, who has a jewel, like so-called jewel on the head, and that's why it's so dangerous. It's just misleading so many people. And Prabhupada gives a further example of decoration on a dead body.
Body.
So you decorate a dead body very, very nicely in a procession so that the lamenting relatives may feel a little bit better. But what's the benefit of decorating the dead body? I remember His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj gave a lecture and the people titled that lecture, Decorating the Dead Body. So the body is dead. What benefit that person will have by decorating the dead body? He has already left the body. Okay, Mataji, last line.
Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered avidya, a nescience.
So, as per this definition, any education does not reach to such realization. What is that? Self-realization. Real education about the soul. So, anything which does not relate you with the soul is called avidya. Sorry to say that, because so many universities and institutions are teaching avidya only. Now, that has a place in the society. We're not denying that place, but we are saying from a spiritual perspective, this is just an avidya. Okay, next paragraph. Vedvadartaha. Anyone remember the Bhagavad Gita verse? Vedvadartaha.
Prabhu, sorry, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So does that mean basically just the previous one when you mentioned about the dangers of like the jewel of on the head of the cobra is by getting knowledge from godless people. Basically, it's we all getting knowledge because they're from godless people throughout our whole life, from school to university.
Absolutely. Even after university, whatever news and propaganda you have around you, it's just for one purpose, how to enjoy your senses more. You live in a more
That's actually quite disturbing because my profession in my profession, I'm just
Yes,
teaching.
Mataji. Yes.
Is
But that's the reality of life. If you see, we are going far from God. Every day, whatever accumulation we do in our mind. I was listening to one class by a sannyasi, and he was saying, Shivram Swami Maharaj, he was saying, we are ruining our own kids actually, because instead of teaching them Mahabharata, Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are playing video games, they are watching movies, they are doing all these mundane things, and we are sending them. It's not the kids are at fault. We're not saying that. We are sending them to those schools by paying thousands of dollars so that they can get the wrong education and then do the wrong things. And then we lament when we become old. Oh, my kid is not Krishna conscious. He's not chanting his rounds. He's not going to temple. He doesn't respect the elderly people. So many things. So if you really look at from the life's perspective, we are responsible. We are responsible. And that's why Prabhupada said we should have a simple life and then have more time for chanting or God realization. And we are making our lives so complex these days. People working, 2 jobs, 3 jobs sometime, and then 18 hours of work every day. just to get, what you call the basic bread, basic necessities of life. And then we have no time for chanting, quality reading, nice devotee association. We have no time for. And then we say, okay, we've been chanting for 20 years. We've been going to temple. Prabhu, kuch ho nahi raha hai. Nothing is happening. I'm not changed. But how you will change unless you invest? I was hearing Keshav Maharaj, and he was saying, many people say, I don't have determination to come to Mangala Aarti or reading Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita or doing the so-called Krishna conscious things. And he's saying that's wrong statement. In the mundane life, in the material life, you have put so much determination. You have been a professional, successful professional. You have raised kids. You have taken mortgages. You have investments. And you're saying you have no determination? That means you're not using the determination for the right purpose. He said, even if you use 20% determination, what you put in the material world, in Krishna consciousness, you'll be flying. You'll be flying. And that's true. How much determination we have to follow Krishna consciousness, we all know. We look at our own sadhana cards on a daily basis, and I'm including myself here, definitely. It's nowhere close to that effort, investment. And then if you don't invest, do you get the result? No. You have to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, come back at 6 o'clock. They squeeze every single blood drop out of you, and then they give you some money, right? Do we ever spend 10 hours to give to Krishna? Probably not. Maybe once on a Janmashtami day or something like that. So investment is needed. Investment is needed. Maharaj said, you're trying to get something which others don't get, then we have to be ready to do something which others don't do. You're trying to make a target of going back to Golok Vrindavan. No one targets that, right? Manushanam sastesu kashidetati siddhaye. So you have to put something extra to get to that goal. And if you don't do it, the results won't come. My boy is preparing for selective exam next year. And I'm sure other devotee kids are also doing it. And that's very nice. But if he doesn't put the effort, will he get the result? No. Simple as that. So Krishna consciousness is also an investment. You have to invest yourself. And what you have to invest, our acharyas have made a very clear list about it. And they're not demanding money. They're not demanding to leave your family and live in a jungle. Nothing like that. But the quite clear guidelines are given. If we follow those guidelines, the result will come. My Guru Maharaj gave an example of a chapati making machine. I saw a video, someone went to Sisnok farm and he posted this video of chapati making machine in Sisnok. I was very happy about it. So they have a chapati making machine there. You put the dough there, you put some hot water or warm water there. I don't know what you put. And what happens on the other end? Nice chapatis come out. Nice chapatis. So my Guru Maharaj used to give this example. So if you follow the process, all you have to put atta and pani, chapatis will come out. Pure devotees will come out. The process is quite clear. But if you don't follow the process, chapatis will burn. They will not come out. They will not come out in a proper shape. And that's where we are all. I am at least. I'm not sure about others. I am. Nice chapatis are not coming out because the investment is not there. The following of the processes is not there as yet. Okay. Thank you, Priya Mataji, for your honest opinion.
Yeah, no, actually, Prabhu, because I feel that it is very hard for in that way to send, like, everyone, it's very, you have to be practical because we can't, as much as it is advised, and even Maharaj said that, it's good to do homeschooling and or send the children where they can be taught Krishna conscious way of life and then learn, the basic education there. And some people are able to do it, which is fortunate enough, which is great. But so if they are still, being taught in a godless society with the godless people teaching them in that particular education that they are learning, but we are cultivating and giving them the Krishna conscious teachings and how to implement that in their life, are that's still considered in the danger zone, or it's still what do you
Technically, yes. The technical answer is yes. Now, practically, as you said, they made practical considerations. It's a big topic in itself. We can't really give a one-line answer, but we should try. We should come together. We should have, because we just don't know what we are doing at this stage. To be very honest, we just don't know. We're just going with the flow of society. We don't know what the results will be for this soul and the other souls. Yeah, anyway, it's a big topic. What are the practical implications with each community and each family? But we have to look at the bigger picture here. Bigger picture. We are responsible for many, many wrong things, which we could do, but we just don't have that bravery or courage to come forward and do it. Anyway, yeah, it's a big topic. Okay, let's come to our verse here and let's continue. But yeah, take the principles and follow as much as possible in each area. One thing which Maharaj said, I'll share and I'll stop this topic. He said, even if you have to send them to material school, at home, you give them so much Krishna conscious atmosphere, so much, like overfill their mind and consciousness with nicest thing possible for you and your family, that when they go to school, they don't get so much impact, although the impact will come. Impact. And we are also same. We go to work, we go to in train and buses, we also get impacted, right? What to do? But at home, your atmosphere should be best possible atmosphere, and take help from devotees. There are many, many nice and expert devotees around. Okay, let's come down to our Vedvadrataha. So this is Bhagavad Gita verse 242, and I have opened it. So if you don't remember, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has condemned them. So it's not Prabhupada is writing something outside Bhagavad Gita, is exactly writing from Bhagavad Gita. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravdanti avipashyata vedvadartaha partha. So vedvadarta, Krishna is saying avipashyata. They cannot discriminate. They are reading Vedas. Rata means they are engaged in the study of Vedas. They are avipashyata. Avipashyata means one person who cannot discriminate what is good and what is wrong. And what do they get? Swarga para. They get Swarga and Kriya Vishesh Bhavlam Bhogashara Gatim Prati. They get Janma Karma Phala Pradam. What do they get at the end? Janma and Mrityu. Janma and Mrityu. Janma and Mrityu. So Krishna is actually, with the very strong words, he's saying Vedvadarta are avipashyataha. The same thing Prabhupada is writing here. So Vedvadarta, one of the wrong educators, because they will, I know the Vedas, you come to my school, I'll teach you Vedas. And what's the Lakshya of Vedas? What's the goal of Vedas? To go to Swargloka. That's not the target of Vedas. What's the target of Vedas? Anyone remembers that verse?
Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Evacha.
15.
So 15. What's the goal of Vedas? To know me. Krishna is saying, if you don't know me, you don't know Vedas. So as per that, is Bhagavad Gita verse, Krishna is saying you don't know. You don't know what the goal of Vedas are. And you're teaching Vedas to go to Swargaloka. This is an insult to the Vedas, actually. Insult to the Vedas and that education. Okay. Come back. Just moving with this themes here. All religions teach the same principle. There's no contradiction as seen by Vedvadarta. Vedvadarta will say, okay, I am, one caste, you are another caste, you are lower caste, I am higher caste. Krishna never uses one word in Bhagavad Gita. All he uses 413. Anyone remembers 413? Jaldi se. Chatur. Ab yaad aa jayega. Chatur. So that's the only verse Krishna uses in Bhagavad Gita, like Chatur Varnya. And he explains this in 18th chapter, 18, 42, 43, 44. So he expands on Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. He never says any other words of religion. And that is also based on Guna, Karma, Vibhagasha, which is quite clear. So all religions teach the same teachings. Now, the ultimate end of the Vedas, we discussed about the Vedvadarta give their own explanation of the Vedas, neglecting the authority of great teachers. Neglecting the authority of great teachers. If you remember Nimai Pandit, not our Vaikuntha Ashram Nimai, Nimai Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had a school of Nyaya, logic, right? And in Navdeep that time, there are many, many schools like that. There are different branches of Vedas they were teaching. So that's one branch. You cannot say, I'm everything. Vidyayam Rata. Vidyayam refers to the study of Vedas because the Vedas are the origin of all knowledge, and Rata means those who are engaged in that. So Vidyayam Rata means those who are engaged in the study of Vedas. The so-called students of the Vedas are condemned herein because they are ignorant to the actual purpose of Vedas. Okay, 7th paragraph. Who hasn't read as yet? I can see Yash Prabhuji. Would you like to just read one?
Sure, Prabhu. So, approach a bona fide
You can read the heading, Prabhuji.
Okay. Veda Veda's main fault, give own meaning to Vedas, neglect authentic meaning of by acharyas.
So we understand this line very clearly, right? So I can give my own interpretation, and I can be of one of those 11 translations. One very spiritually famous guru, I again saw a little clip, very famous person, very rich person. He said, I have not read any Vedas or Gitas or Mahabharatas. I give my own interpretation. And people love him. People love him. He charges $2,000 for per seat. So, and he openly saying that I have not read Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana. And then on what authority you're misguiding thousands of people? And he's teaching, and people are coming to him like anything. So Prabhupada is writing, give all meanings to the Vedas. Neglect the spiritual authority. And Prabhupada said you can only understand these Vedas in the disciplic succession, in a bona fide Acharya's line. You cannot give your own meanings. Yes, Prabhu.
Yep. So one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. And the second is they fall even further into ignorance than those who have no knowledge of the Vedas at all.
So we understand that line. So we rather not studying the Vedas is better than studying the Vedas from so-called gurus who give their own interpretation. They don't come in any sampradaya. They don't have any guru. They claim themselves to be the guru or sometimes even Bhagavan. Okay, last one. Prema Mataji, would you like to read?
Result of misinterpretation, unable to recognize their own foolishness, never consider how it is that God can be entrapped by Maya.
So we understand Mayavadi says, we are all Bhagavan. We are just covered by Maya. So Bhagavan is covered by Maya. Then who is higher? Maya. So then Maya should be God, not God should be God, because Maya have overcome God. But in Bhagavad Gita, anyone remembers what's the verse where Krishna says, Maya is my adhin, she's under me? Anyone remembers that famous verse?
Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate
Sacharacharam, okay, 9.10, and also 7.14, Devi Hesha Igunmai, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Mama Maya Duratyaya, 7.14. So Krishna says, my Maya. So many other verses are there. So they are just misinterpreting. So we understand the theme of this verse, Vidya, so-called Vidya, and Avidya. So Avidya is worse, but posing yourself to be in Vidya and opposing the real Vidya actually is worse. So Krishna says, they who do that, I'll just read the translation again. Worse still are those who engage the culture of so-called knowledge, enter actually in the darker region of the nescience. Darker region here refers to, again, Adham Yoni, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. They go downwards. Okay, let's do the, I'll send that. You don't have to take a screenshot. Verse 10, mantra 10. We see Tanya Mataji, Hare Krishna, straight from Dubai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I will not ask you to read. I can see you might be walking. You can just hear
Yeah,
us.
I can read actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. Go ahead, Mataji.
Oh, the verse itself?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
It's a small verse.
Anyad eva hur vidyaya
Anyad eva hurdhyaya. And it's
nyada
anyad.
hur avid.
It's anyad. So you
Oh.
can bring that A down. Anyad.
Oh, anyad ahur avidyaya
Anyad ahur avidyaya.
iti shushruma dhiranam
Iti shushruma dhiranam.
yenastad vichakshire.
Yenastad vichachakshire.
Translation. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience.
Thank you, Mataji. So again, the theme is similar here. As we said, 9, 10, and 11 are same. Now, what is saying? The wise have explained. The wise refers to dhira. We'll come to this word in a minute. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. Now, many times we say, whatever we study, what does it matter? Whatever dharma we follow, whatever religion we follow, it's all same. Huh? Whatever way we follow, you're eventually going to go back to God. But that's not true. And the example can be seen from that example when we said ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. If I don't follow the road rules, police will catch me, camera will catch me. I have to follow the road rules. I have to follow the local state laws. I have to follow the federal laws. Has anyone teaching what are the federal laws of Australia to anyone? But because you live in Australia, you're supposed to follow the laws. You cannot say, oh, actually, I come from India. I don't know. And police will say, okay, thank you. You didn't know. Someone will say, I come from Philippines. Someone will say, I come from America. I come from Makkah, whatever. So you are living in this country. You are supposed to follow the laws of the country. So if you follow the laws, the result will be different. And if you don't follow the laws, you'll be probably behind the bar, isn't it? It's very clear, even from the mundane perspective. So Krishna is saying, if you follow culture of knowledge, the result will be different than culture of nascence or ignorance. Now, what this is, let's read from Prabhupada. Para 1 and 2, I'll just read the heading here. It's a quite big one. How to cultivate knowledge. Vidya leads to desirable qualities. Now, Prabhupada is taking a reference from Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to 12. I got this verse here, and everyone would remember this, which we have studied probably 6 months ago. Amanitam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shantir, Arjam. So there are 20 qualities given in this 3 verses. And the last line, it says, Etad Jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yad anyatha. You remember this line? Krishna very clearly says, this is Gyan, everything else is Ajnan. So if you are not following these 20 qualities, which are very, very nice, you are actually in Ajnan. So Prabhupada takes this reference in Isopanishad. And he gives a list of 18 lines here, which has actually 20 qualities. I'll not read through all of them. I'll just read 1 or 2. One should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others. Now tell me honestly, that kids in the current day and age are learning these qualities in a school these days? Probably not. They answer back. They answer back like anything. And sometimes they answer so much you don't even have answer for their answer. One should not pose himself as a religionist simply for the name and fame. Tell me how many people are doing currently in the world this thing. They pose themselves a big religionist. I watched a little documentary. A big religionist from another religion was going in a butcher house, a slaughterhouse, and he's sort of checking them out. Are they killing the animals nicely by reading something? And this is a big religionist in going to the butcher house, slaughterhouses. He's killing all these animals. And they cut the animals and they distribute it. I heard in my workplace, there's another religion person, he's saying, you can sponsor a goat in your country and someone else will cut the goat and distribute it. Like, wow. He's sitting here and is sponsoring a goat back in his country. And he's saying, I'm doing a very religious job by killing few goats.
So that happens here as well. I've seen hoarding. I've seen him saying that sponsor a goat for $45 or $99.
For hungry people. Wow. You go to Bunnings and you smell that, in the beginning of the Bunnings. Oh my God. They're killing some animals or birds to feed some other people. How will be happy? One should not become a source of anxiety to others by the actions of his body, thoughts of his mind, or his words. How many people are following this? Forget the outside. How many of us are following this? We are not causing anxiety to others by our mind, body, and words. We're constantly doing it, actually. Constantly doing it. Even in our home. Even for ourselves. We do it, isn't it? So look at this. Just one line is so powerful. One should learn forbearance even in the face of provocation from others. How many of us are able to tolerate our insults from others? A slightest, sometimes even a misinterpretation. We get upset, we get angry. Anyway, so Prabhupada is saying one should culture knowledge in the following way. We can just follow this, 18 lines of Prabhupada, our life will be successful. Even if you don't do anything else. So beautiful things Prabhupada writes here, again, based on this 13.8 to 12. And Prabhupada is saying, this is Vidya. And if you follow this, obviously the result will be different. Let's go to the second paragraph. Advancement of material knowledge makes one an ass. So Prabhupada using a very strong word here. He's saying 18 items combined to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be the category of nuisance. Very clear, no like political adjustments, not trying to impress the readers of this book, nothing. It's straight from Bhagavad Gita. If you're not doing this, you're not in knowledge. Simple as that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Acharya, maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusory energy, and that by culturing them, one becomes no better than us. Actually, there's a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I can't remember. I heard in a class, Chaitanya who was giving that class, and he says, can't remember the words, this in Bengali, that material knowledge makes you a gadha. Gadha word Bhaktivinoda Thakur is using in his song. So Prabhupada is just translating that line of the song here. It's just illusory energy, and I, a gadha, may think I'm the president of this country. I'm the president of this community. I'm such a great person. Everyone should bow down to me, based on that material knowledge. Advancement of material knowledge, modern man is simply being converted into an ass. That's a very strong statement, but this is true. And the basis of that statement is this knowledge is not helping us to go back to Krishna. It's actually making us further away from Krishna, isn't it? You ask anyone, Prabhuji, Mataji, come to temple, come there. Prabhu, time kahan hai? Where is the time? Come for Janmashtami festival, come for some seva, read Prabhupada books, read Bhagavad Gita. Time kahan hai, Prabhuji? You are a Pandit, you are a sannyasi, I am not a sannyasi. Are we all sannyasis here sitting in this room? Anyway, but people, it's not about time. If you tell them, come home, I'll give you $150. Will they come? Kab aana hai? Only one time, next Sunday, will you not give me? They will ask for, no matter how much work they have at home, they will come to your house and they will receive that $150 or whatever. Huh? So because they don't understand the value of this education, and because they don't understand the value, there's no commitment to it. And that happens not only on the outer society, even within the community of devotees, because we don't value Krishna consciousness. That's why we don't follow it. If we value it, we will follow. So that's why Prabhupada said, we must read these books. If you're not reading the books, your commitment will be very, very little. And then you may not become a good devotee at the end of life. Okay, faults of the modern university education. Due to the wrong type of education being imparted in our universities, boys all over the world are giving their elders headache. How true is this line? Unless your kid is like 2-year-old, we all understand. The elder they are, the greater the headache. The universities, so to speak, centers of nuisance. Only consequently, scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons. I heard in a lecture again by Chaitanya Prabhu, Einstein said after the Second World War, he only sent a letter to US government saying you should develop nuclear weapon. And based on his instruction and guidance by some other scientists, US government developed the nuclear weapon because Einstein thought if Hitler makes a nuclear weapon, it's better America makes the nuclear weapon first. And actually, in actuality, the Hitler had no knowledge of making the nuclear weapon. You know what Hitler was doing at that time? He sent a team of scholars to India to find out. Now, Hitler had knowledge of Vedas. You probably know that. Their symbols also represent that. Anyway, he sent a team of scholars to India to find out a way to make Brahmastra. He knew the knowledge of Brahmastra. He knew the Brahmastra exists. And he said to his team, can you go to India and find out how to make Brahmastra? Then I can destroy the whole world. So Hitler was actually in that sense way ahead. But technical perspective, he wasn't. Anyway, so Einstein write another letter to American government. This was my worst mistake to US government to make this recommendation of making the nuclear weapon, which they misused actually on Japan. So Prabhupada writing, they are discovering lethal weapons, not given instruction, the regulative principles of brahmacharya. And then writing, university students today are not given instruction in the regulative principles of brahmacharya, nor do they have any faith in any scriptural injunctions. Even 50 years ago, if you remember, there was no co-ed education. There were boys' school and there were girls' school. At least when I was in India, there were very, very few schools. Every school was separated because they knew the importance of separating boys and girls. But nowadays, they mix them together, and what's the result? not so nice. Keshav Maharaj was saying in one class, 100 years ago, the main problem in the universities were students coming late in the class, they were talking in the class, and they're having chewing gum in their mouth in the class. Those are three top problems in universities. You know what the current problems of universities currently are? Maharaj is quoting it. I'm quoting as it is. Maharaj saying, students using guns in the school, young female pregnancies, and student using the lethal weapons not only on the students but on the teachers itself. The teachers are in fear. All these young females getting impregnated, especially around 14th of February. I'm reading a documentary saying in November time, there are so many abortions, because they celebrate 14th of February. So many, and there's a stats as well, I can't remember, like double or triple the size of abortions take place in November, month of November. This is the result of the modern world. So many suicides are happening. Fault of wrong university education. Nescience leads to nationalism and chauvinism. I'll not read that paragraph fully. Okay, how to come out of it? Now, this is where Prabhupada is trying to solve the problem, which is very nice. Take the knowledge from dhira. Anyone remembers verse from Bhagavad Gita which uses the word dhira? Everyone should know that. We have our
Dhirastatrana muhyati.
Starting verse number Fatafat.
Chapter 2,
213. 213. Does that sound correct? Now starting. They.
Dehi
nosmin.
That's chalega. अब आ जाएगा. Starting चाहिए खाली. Dehi nosmin thade. Huh? So dhira statra namuya. So the word dhira is used in Isopanishad, the nectar of instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Dhira is very. And whose examples Prabhupada gives in that dhira? 213. Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is such a great dhira. And Prabhupada writes there, even Mother Parvati could not agitate the mind of Lord Shiva by any means. So he's dhira. So Prabhupada is saying, take knowledge from dhira, not from these hot-headed world leaders who pose them into a great position, but they have actually no knowledge. Faulty type of education. Development of real knowledge is important. Instructions of Vidya must be acquired from Adhira. Adhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion. He understands this is matter and this is the way it is. He simply makes the best use of bad bargains. And Prabhupada said we should all become dhira. We should all become dhira. Dhira means undisturbed. What knowledge makes a dhira undisturbed? The material body and mind are bad bargains for the spiritual living entity. The living entity has actual functions in the living spiritual world, but this world is dead. Now, how many people think like that? We think world is so attractive. There's so many nice things to do, nice things to taste, nice places to explore. Prabhupada, material world is dead. Chaitanya Prabhu came last year and he gave a seminar in Epping somewhere. And he was explaining the class. A spiritualist does not live in the material world and look at the spiritual world. A spiritualist live in the material world and look at the material world. You understand the difference? He live in the spiritual world. Now, his body obviously live in the material, but he lives mentally in the spiritual world, in Golok Vrindavan. And he looks at the material world. We live in the material world and then so many problems are going on with me, with my life, with my health and finances and this Turkey war and Ukraine war, this war, that war. So all is happening. So a spiritualist, Chaitanya was saying, lives in the spiritual world and looks at the material world. So it's very, very hard. I was hearing Keshav Maharaj today and he was saying there are 4 types of Vrindavan. Anyone knows 4 types of Vrindavan? Okay, tell me one Vrindavan. One Vrindavan. Sundar Gopal Prabhu telling right now. No? I thought you were getting ready. Who will tell? One Vrindavan.
Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay, Charu Mataji saying Goloka Vrindavan?
Vrindavan.
One is Gulok.
Bhulok Vrindavan and Golok. So 2 are there, right? Golok Vrindavan is spiritual world Vrindavan. Bhulok Vrindavan, like you go to India. And third Vrindavan, he's saying devotees, they make Vrindavan. Like Prabhupada took Vrindavan out of Vrindavan and made America, or many places in America, as Vrindavan. So devotees make the Vrindavan. And the fourth Vrindavan, who will say? Rasanand Prabhuji.
The temple.
Temple is a Vrindavan.
So devotees made Vrindavans. That's temple Vrindavan. That's correct. And the places wherever Prabhupada sort of visited, he made that.
Dham Prabhu.
We already discussed that. Fourth
Prabhu,
Vrindavan.
your heart.
Our own heart.
Who said heart? Prasanatma Prabhu, I guess, or Rasanand Prabhuji. Heart. Huh? My Guru Maharaj made a CD. My mind is Vrindavan. Huh? So we may not be able to go to Golok Vrindavan. We may not be able to go to Bhulok Vrindavan. We are not devotees. I am not who can create a Vrindavan. Even temples we can't go every day unless you have Prema Bhakti Mataji who cannot live without temple. Huh? So we all have our different. But fourth Vrindavan, is it possible for us? At least for a few moments, at least. Huh? We can try. Huh? That's in our control. So Maharaj was saying we should make fourth Vrindavan. And how do you make fourth Vrindavan? By visiting the third Vrindavan, and then by visiting the second Vrindavan, and then you go back to first Vrindavan. Such a nice analogy, such a nice analogy. Huh? So our heart, our mind, our consciousness should become like Vrindavan. Okay, I'll just read 2 more paragraphs very quickly. We'll finish this verse. The process of becoming Dhira. One can become Dhira only by submissively hearing from bona fide spiritual master. Anyone can give a verse from Bhagavad Gita quickly. Jaldi.
Yeah.
Tatvidhi
Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprasthena sevaya.
Thank you. Number? Jaldi se number.
434.
Lawyers should know. Huh?
434.
Thank you. 434. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Thank you. And Rasanand Prabhu and Madhuri Mataji. Combined teamwork. Arjuna, perfect example for that. Became a Dhira submissively hearing from Lord Krishna. What's the example for this line? Anyone from Bhagavad Gita? Arjun became a Dhira.
Karparnya dosho?
That is the problem side. This is talking a solution side. That's right, Mata. That was a problem, right? He presented, doctor, I have this disease. Solution, Manmohan Prabhu, solution expert.
Is it Prabhu Nashta Moha?
Thank you.
Nashta
Number.
Moha
1873. No,
18.
1873. Nashta Moha Smriti Labdha Tat Prasadat Me Achita. It ends of Bhagavad Gita, right? 1872 Krishna finishes, 1870 Arjun says, Nashto Moha. So he's saying he became a Dhira. So by hearing Bhagavad Gita, we can all become Dhira? Yes or no? सोच के बताएंगे. We will, if we follow the Bhagavad Gita properly, we will become, as Arjun became Dhira. This is the process of learning Vidya from the Dhira. Modern politicians are Adhira, Prabhupada using a very strong word here, hence unqualified to lead. An Adhira cannot be an instructive leader. Modern politicians who post themselves as Dhiras are actually Adhiras. Okay, let's stop here. Just I'll take 30 seconds. Gopal Prabhuji has few announcements for the group.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
please write your questions and we'll respond your questions next week. No problem with that. Yes, Prabhuji.
So a couple of announcements. The on 17th, which is 2 weeks from now, is the Ram Navami festival. So we won't have the class on 17th. Instead, we'll have class on the 18th, which might be conducted by Bhanu Maharaj, His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj.
Actually, it's just confirmed. Literally, just before this class, I got a phone call. So it's confirmed. Bhanu Maharaj will be giving class on 18th of April, Thursday, same time.
Prabhu, is it going to be similar to how previous?
It's just going to be a different topic. Now, you can give your topics if you like. I don't know about it, but yeah, we can decide that.
So it may not be like the Isopanishad.
No, Prabhuji, because another Bhakti Shastri batch is also coming. So we'll have just a common topic.
Sure.
Okay, you can please give your topics to me or Sundar Gopal Prabhu, and then we'll just post it. Anyone has any better ideas, you can do that. Okay, yes, Prabhuji.
The next one is about the assignment. So submission date for that is end of this month, which is 30th of April.
So just on that, we are hoping to finish Isopanishad by end of this month. It may be a week here and there. So, but please be ready with the assignments because we have done plenty of work in this, and we'll be doing more work in next 3 weeks. Yes.
Yeah. And the third thing is what Prabhu already mentioned towards the beginning of this class, that the exam for Isopanishad Module 4 is tentatively logged in for the 12th of May.
Okay, so please keep that date in your diary, please. Okay, anything else was there, Prabhu?
No, I think that's pretty much for now.
Okay, so let's stop here.